A Mother's Day fighting for justice. It's how one South Fulton mother spent her day with her friends and family. It is the loved ones of Devon Anderson, the man investigators say that an off-duty Atlanta police officer shot and killed. Atlanta News First, Alani Latang is live tonight outside APD headquarters with the family's fight for justice and accountability.
Joy, the family wants that officer held responsible. They want him fired. And according to the city, he's still employed, but in a non-enforcement role. This Mother's Day is especially hard for Devon Anderson's mother, as this Mother's Day is also Devon's birthday.
My heart will forever be broken.
It's the first Mother's Day for Valerie Anderson without her youngest son, Devon Anderson. It also would have been his 39th birthday.
I didn't get that kiss today. I didn't get it today. And I'll never get it again.
Devon died last August. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says off-duty Atlanta police officer Melvin Potter shot and killed Devon. It happened after an argument with Potter and another group of people outside a bar in College Park.
Why? Why did you murder my son?
South Fulton police arrested Potter with obstruction for the shooting, but records show troubles started before that. His City of Atlanta profile states he had been on a 36-month probation starting November 2021. Potter also has a DUI conviction from September 2021. His report states he drove 100 miles per hour. His car smelled of alcohol. Plus, he refused a field sobriety test. Records show Potter is still an active APD member, but remains in a non-enforcement role.
For him to not be arrested is like a slap in the face. Why do we have to go through this? Why is he still working?
The family has the sympathy of some council members. Valerie showing up to city council meetings every week since, demanding the city fire Potter, while also pushing the district attorney to file charges against him.
We want to make sure that justice is done in every single incident. You know, the families and the victims deserve that.
As long as this heart of mine is beaten, I am going to get justice for my son, my twin son.
I've reached out to the GBI and Atlanta Police Department on any updates to this case, including if there's going to be any possible additional charges. We have not heard back yet, but we will keep you updated. Reporting live downtown, I'm Alani Latang, Atlanta News First.